conquista tutto. L'amore conquista tutto.
Hey there, everyone, and welcome to episode 44 of the Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast. And today we're talking undiscovered covers uncovered. So undiscovered covers uncovered.
Uncovered discovers.
Yeah,
Uncovered.
yeah, don't confuse me. So promises to be I've been really looking forward to this show. And you've already heard the voice. He's please welcome from the home of the second Ashes test, which is of course Adelaide. Please welcome Braggy. How you been, Braggy?
Curly, I'm fantastic. I'm loving cricket season. I'm glad it started. I can't wait. It's going to be in your beautiful city first.
Yeah, if the rain holds off, mate. They're forecast rain for the 5 days.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, it's very, very
boys
interesting.
will be playing the bloody. There'll be a lot of 500 going on in the dressing rooms.
I'd imagine. Hey, and I've got to ask the question: have you recovered from the big dance drop that we experienced last week with the Gareth?
That was cool, wasn't it? I learnt so much from last week. And
I felt that
Fee was a
drop
little bit shy, but she came out of her shell, and
yeah,
I learned heaps about that. And what a whole other world that is, that DJ world, man. And the the raves are. Oh.
And she's got like 92 hours of DJing, one after another, all this weekend.
No. Have you recovered from that? Your face, I didn't think it was going to change.
It took a while to sink in, you know. And, I just had to get some clarification. Yeah. But unfortunately, Fee's had some sad news with this week. Her birth dad passed away. Yeah. So our thoughts are with you, Fee. And I hope that your birthday rave lasting 92 hours.
Yeah, love to the rave, the DJ world, the underground world of the ravers.
Absolutely. Hey, look, some more news. Spotify has got their Spotify Wrap stuff coming out for artists at the moment and podcast hosts. Blind Season shared some really good news during the week. With that, they've had 247,000 streams during the course of 2021, 39,000 listeners from 123 countries.
That's great.
That's not bad.
All due to us, I reckon.
I reckon we've helped that along the way.
Maybe we've added a couple of listeners.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, Shane's already sent through his contribution for the Christmas show, so. Can I tell you, listeners, you will be hearing something really special. 2 songs that have not been released that he's still sort of playing around with as well in some respects. So it's going to be interesting to hear him at the Christmas show, and then it's going to be interesting to hear him when they finally get recorded, and we'll be able to see the difference in the journey that those songs took.
Yeah, that's a bit of an exclusive for us, I think.
Yeah, that's, and... Shane's such an introvert and such a nice guy, and but obviously vastly different to his persona on stage, I'd imagine. So
yeah,
it's going to be pretty cool. But the final news is that, of course, our Christmas show has moved to a Sunday session. It's on the 19th of December. It promises to be a really chilled sort of an afternoon. So you're going to be listening to his contribution from the artists that we've been honoured to speak to, and truly it is an honour to speak to some of these, all of these artists. And you can join in and interact during the show. It's going to be so much fun.
You're able to watch it too, aren't you, Tony?
They'll be watching, listening.
So you can sit out. It's summer now. You can, like you said, get the Barbie going. You can crack a couple of coldies. Put the laptop out on the deck or whatever.
Yep. Stream it to a TV if you've got one out the back. It's going to be awesome.
Watch everyone play and watch us 2 dickheads, try and keep it all together. It's going to be great.
But the link's in the show notes, so you do have to register. And if you watch it live, you'll get it on the 19th, which is awesome. And then we'll parcel it all up and put it out in the podcast episode, probably just before Christmas Day. So, but we want you live. It's going to be fun. We can actually, the platform we're using, we can pull you out of the the chat room and put you on with us if you want to have a chat with us. So it's going to be that much fun. It's going to be really cool. So,
well,
now,
dare I say, you might even take requests.
Oh, we could. Yeah.
I'm game. If anyone else is.
Hey, let's talk covers.
Yes.
So let's talk covers, because covers are, from what I understand, are a bit of a necessity for musos.
Everyone starts with covers.
Yeah, everyone starts with covers. So starting to learn to play their favourite songs. So tell me about your relationship, Tave, that you've got with covers from a musician's point of view.
Yeah, well, I mean, the way you learn, especially back in my day, was you listened to the radio, you taped it off the radio with your tape deck, and you tried to play it like those guys played it. You could never play it exactly like they played it because obviously they were heaps better, but that's how you learn your chops. And and obviously, you know, most of the time, most punters want to go and hear songs that they know, unless they really like a band and they start following it. So, yeah, very much a necessity. I've played in cover bands all my life. I've done original stuff, but always played covers. And I think if I could expand on it, the trick to playing a cover that I've come to realise over the things is not to play it exactly.
Yeah,
is to play it slightly different and maybe give the punters a little bit of surprise. If you can start something and they go, oh, that sounds familiar, but what is this song? And then you see the surprise on their face when they finally recognise what you're playing. And if you do a good job of it, it's much better than just copying it exactly.
Which is interesting because, you know, when I was prepping for this particular show, and yes, listeners, believe it or not, we do some prepping for this for our shows. There's almost like there's two types of covers in my mind, and feel free to correct me if there's more. But there's one that pays almost like an exact homage to the original, and we've seen that out there. A lot of people play covers, and it's, you know, we see a lot of in tribute bands, don't we, where the covers are pretty much a mirror image of the original. But then the second type is the one that respects the original but brings what I would say varying degrees of creative license into the song. And that creative license, and it's interesting when, you know, you sent me through your songs, the creative license that's within is huge.
I think you're absolutely correct in what you say, and I think it's very wise never to correct the punter. But I will say that there's a third type of cover, and that's the one that takes the piss out of the song. So,
okay.
I mean, Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah.
He, you know what I mean? He took the piss out of him. And I think one of my covers kind of does that a little bit. Even though it plays respect to it, it kind of takes, and I think you'll know which one I mean. It's the one that sounds...
I think I know the one that you mean. It's taken the piss
out of it a little bit, but it does it so well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And, you know, because you know a good cover when you hear it, don't you? And, you know...
Some punters will get offended, though, but I think some punters get offended by, I can't believe... Like, remember when Madonna did American Pie and she tried to do it really differently?
Yeah.
And all the Don McLean fans were goose-stepping up the aisle, you know? Oh, that's not good, you know? So it can be tricky if you really change it.
Yeah. It was interesting because, you know, doing the research and listening to covers, and my wife unwittingly gets drawn into it, and as I'm sure Yvette does as well, because she's listening.
Yvette very much approves of my three choices.
And when we listen to, like, one of our favourite covers, both of us, is Dwight Yoakam's version of Suspicious Minds, and, you know, that gives you a bit of a hint that it's not on the show tonight. And Sharon says to me, she said, I've never heard a bad cover version of Suspicious Minds. I'm sure they're out there.
Yeah. We should probably talk about some great covers that maybe are by not really undiscovered, but ones we all know before maybe we start. What do you reckon? Do you like, I'm thinking of like the classic is Jimi Hendrix doing Bob Dylan's All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah.
So and people might know this, but Amy Winehouse's Valerie is a cover of a band called the Zootons, which a lot of
Yeah.
people don't know. So there's,
See, I reckon there's a show in that just in itself,
yeah,
Braggy, where we maybe played the original is the cover is the more well-known song, and the original, maybe
yes,
we have a show playing the
yes,
originals of some of these other
yeah,
songs.
good
So,
idea.
yeah, I think that's a really good show. But interestingly, while I was thinking about this whole thing and the concept of tribute bands, I went to see with Big Stewie one time. He dragged me along to see the Australian Eagle show, and you know everyone loves the Eagles,
Hmm.
but they are that good. It was like listening to a record.
Yeah,
It was like pitch perfect. The instruments were exactly so. And to me, it got a bit boring. It got a
yeah,
bit dull. So I think in respect of that, you need to see a bit of personality. And the other interesting show tribute, and I haven't seen a lot of tribute shows, but I saw Kiss Experience, I think it's called Kiss Experience up here. They're a Queensland band, and they do an amazing Kiss show.
yeah.
And they bring obviously they're mirroring the big personalities that are Kiss,
Mm.
but they are themselves as well. So you see that little bit of a personality. So I think that's important as well.
It is, yeah, yeah. Those tribute bands, they really do have to play it exact, though. So,
Yeah,
to try.
absolutely. But yeah, but I just felt a bit with the
Yeah, I can
Eagles
believe
one.
that. Imagine playing in one,
Sorry,
you'd get a
Stewie.
bit sick of it, wouldn't you think? Playing in one of those bands,
Yeah, get a bit routine, wouldn't it? So.
just like, yeah, I guess like
Speaking of
anything.
which, James Dawson's got a big tribute day lined up in January down there in Sydney. They're playing at one of the marquee things with about 8 tribute bands.
He's got the
That's gonna
Guns N'
be
Roses thing, doesn't he?
yeah, that's going to be huge. So, hey, before we get into the songs that we chose, what were some of the songs that didn't make the cut for you?
I had a band called San Cisco, which is an Australian band. Like a good place to mine for cover versions, different ones, is
Yeah.
Triple J's Like a Version. I love that little segment they
It
do.
is, and it's a great playlist on
Oh, it's a
Spotify.
fantastic playlist. So I went
Yeah.
straight to that, and it was hard to choose. There's so many good ones on there. So yeah, so there was that one, San Cisco doing "Get Lucky" by Daft Punk. I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, good little song.
Yeah, and there's another YouTube channel that I'll show you later called Scary Pockets, and they're a couple of guys started by 2 guys from San Francisco, and they
Yeah.
just do cover versions, but they kind of funk it up. They're amazing musos, and they
Yeah.
bring in a whole bunch of other, recording guys that maybe are session guys to do to them as well. I love watching that. Yvette and my wife, hang out for that. Every time there's a new one come out, we check it out.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
That's so positive, isn't it? I did a live on our Facebook page last Sunday while having a beer about some of the songs that were going to miss the cut for
Yeah.
in my 3 that I chose, and I know that there's probably so many disappointed people out there, but Chocolate Starfish with You're So Vain just did not make the cut. An interesting story: Huxton Creepers did a cover version of Pretty Flamingo. You might remember that back in the day. Annie Jones.
Pretty flamingo.
And back in 2011, the Creepers teamed up with Ups and Downs and did I won't say it's a farewell concert, but they did like a reunion concert right around Australia. And the Creepers were playing, and the Huxton Creepers have got some great songs by themselves. But they were obviously copying a bit of, I won't say flack, but people were challenging them at the front to play Pretty Flamingo.
Yeah.
And the reason why the story is so funny because I think the lead singer's name's Rob Crew, and he said, "Hey guys, we don't play covers anymore. Have you ever heard of a band called Chocolate Starfish?" Oh, it was a classic. But yeah, it was really interesting. One of the things I love about this show is that it really has opened my eyes to a lot of new music, Braggy.
Yeah, me too, mate. Things I would never, like I'd said, I wouldn't listen to, and yeah, it's great, especially when we get these undiscovered artists on these bands, like those,
and just feeding off their energy is just amazing.
like those guys Spillage a couple of weeks ago. I freaking love that album. That's a really good album, And I spoke to the other guy that's been on our channel, Rob, and we both agreed that it's so well. I just love the recording of it, the sound of it.
Yeah.
Sounds really, I don't know.
So, Mr. Di
warm
Pasquale, Sam, and Tony, I hope
Yeah.
you're listening to that. You're getting some rave reviews about the production. But there's, for those that may be interested, head to our Facebook page and hear some of the songs that missed the cut for me. But one of the ones that I listened to this week was a song by the Ramones. I made a mention about the Ramones doing a lot of covers, and of course they did Surfing Bird, which is one of their covers, but in typical Ramones fashion, it's over like in about a minute 30. But they do a really good version of Needles and Pins, the old
really?
Smokey song. Yeah, so...
Is that a Smokey song, or is it even older than Smokey, that song?
It's probably even... See, some of the
I think it's
cover
a Smokey
versions,
song.
and this is the really interesting thing, we know it by Smokey.
I think it is a Smokey song. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it is, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, let's get
Someone will
into
tell
it.
us.
So I'm going first, or
No,
you're
I'll go
going
first because you're going to finish it, aren't you?
Okay, awesome. So which is the one that
So
you're going
I think we're going to go with a guy that you might have heard of, but he might have. I don't think he was that big when he did this cover. Maybe he was. This is a guy called Matt Corby. He won Australian Idol in 2017, I think, at the age of 2017. Oh no, 2007. He won it, I think, at the age of 17. He's a young fella. He's got the most incredible voice. This is really interesting because it relates to this cover. His dad and mum were musical. They bought him a guitar when he was 6, and his mum introduced him to Tina Arena, who is back in Australia now. It's been for a while. She's actually touring at the moment, or just finished a tour.
Oh, truly.
Remember Tina Arena from Young Talent Time?
Young Talent Time, yeah.
She went,
and so much more.
and so much more. She went to France, and she was massive in France. And I always remember there's a little clip of her when Cadell Evans won the Tour de France. She was at the finish line, and she impromptu sang the Australian national anthem, and it was almost brought tears to my eyes. So I love Tina Arena, and Matt Corby's voice is incredible. This is a great cover of the song Chains. And the band that they're playing with are all just on it. And the backup girl, just watch for her, Tony.
All right,
great,
so here we
incredible too.
go. So this is from Like a Version, I believe.
Yep.
So here it is, Matt Corby doing Tina Arena Chains on Like a Version, Friday morning. Take it away.
Sweet.
Your arms are warm, but they make me feel as if they're made of cold, cold steel. A simple kiss like a turning key. Little click and the lock's on me. Can move my arms, can lift my hands. I won't admit to where I am. I love you, baby. I'm in chains. I'm in chains. I'm in chains. And I pretend I can always leave, free to go whenever I please. Burns in the sound of my desperate call, echo of these dungeon walls. I've crossed the line from mad to sane 1,000 times and back again. I love you, baby. I'm in chains.
Baby, I'm in chains.
I'm in chains.
Baby, I'm in chains.
some vocal gymnastics going on there. Like that is, that's very athletic how he sings that.
And when you think about Matt Corby, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was Australian Idol.
He was
or
Australian
one of those?
Idol, but there was a bit of controversy about it because I think he finished second,
Yeah.
and he didn't get a lot of good press for some reason after that, and I think he was a little bit down on himself. But he's made a few really good albums now. He's won an ARIA, I think.
Oh wow.
So-
yeah. He's got the look, hasn't
He's
he?
got a look.
He's
His voice is incredible, though, Tony. Like that is
Yeah.
a voice to. You're just born with that.
But even when he kicks off that song, when he starts that song, there's without being a singer and without having to know that, it seems so easy.
Yeah.
But there would have to be so much practice to get that to.
You really need a lot of control to sing soft like that. Yeah, a lot of vocal control.
Yeah.
And then he goes high. His range is amazing. He's right up there. He's down low.
Yeah. Mate, that is an amazing start,
Cool.
isn't it?
I love it.
That was an amazing start. So I'm going to go next, and I'm going to talk about the band doing the cover first, and then I'll talk a little bit about the song. Weddings, Parties, Anything. And one of my most favourite bands, I saw them live at the Arts Factory at Byron Bay. I've only seen them once, which is, I've seen Mick Thomas solo a couple of times, but I saw Weddings very early in the piece, just after they released their first album at the Arts Factory. And Weddings cover a lot of songs. In fact, one of their very first mini EPs that they put out, which is increasingly difficult to get nowadays. I think I've got it on CD somewhere. The interesting thing I found this week, Tove,
Yes.
is that I've treasured this record collection every time we've moved and packed it. And,
Yeah.
But my CDs are all over the fucking place.
Yeah,
so,
mine too.
and I just don't understand that. CDs just don't have the same sentiment. But they released an EP called Weddings, Play the Sports and Falcons.
Right.
So so you can imagine you've got Strangers on a Train on that particular album.
Yeah.
You've got So Young. You've got Stop the Baby Talking. So you've got all those covers. They've covered Die Pretty with Everybody Moves, and they do such an amazing job on that. They've covered One Perfect Day by Little Heroes.
Oh, yeah.
And Grey Skies by the Strange Tenants. I mean, these guys love paying homage and respect to other artists, and that's one of the really big things. And they've got a really great story about one of their songs that was on, I've forgotten the album, but it's on their live album called They Were Better Live, and it's a song for, the album's called Donkey's Serenade, which is where this song that I'm just about to talk about, Rosie and Grey, is a cover version of a band called The Lowest of the Low. And they're on tour in Canada in this particular time. And Lowest of the Low, in Mick Thomas's word, and I think Mick gets crankier as he gets older, but in Mick Thomas's words, he said they did us the honour of covering one of the wedding songs. So they were thinking that for the next session, they had to cover one of theirs. So they chose this song called Rosie and Grey. And as Mick says, they just totally stuffed it up. But they added a verse and they changed the words, and and it's such a great little version. But the song we're going to talk about is a song they covered from a band called the Triffids from Perth. Now, the Triffids were a band that featured David McComb. Now, the song that we're going to share is a song called Wide Open Road. Now, Wide Open Road by the Triffids is this really moody sort of a song, and being in Perth, and they did a lot of gigs in Sydney, you can understand where this song came from. Now, interestingly, when the song was released in '86,
the Triffids always remind me of the Go-Betweens. I don't know if it's the Brisbane on that one side. Back in those days it was and I don't know, but they always do anyway.
The interesting thing that I see with both the Triffids and with many bands, to be honest, and the Go-Betweens, is that they were virtually fucking ignored when they were at their peak.
Yes.
And then as the time, as people have grown up with them, they've suddenly become classics. And And the interesting thing here, so Wide Open Road from the Triffids reached number 26 on the UK singles charts in 86. So it's, number 6, 26, that's pretty cool. They reached 64 on the Australian Kent Music Report singles. But in May 2001, the Australian Performing Rights Association actually named Wide Open Road as one of the top 30 Australian songs of all time.
Yep.
And I just think that, they deserve success when they were around, not necessarily post.
Same as the Go-Betweens. Well, I think, Streets of Our Town is way up there in that chart of those greatest Australian songs of all time. Yeah.
So the song we're playing first up for me, and it's I won't play the whole thing, but it's Wide Open Road by the Weddings, Parties, Anything. It's a Triffid song. It's a bit quicker than what you hear from the original, and they add their own wedding.
I've never heard this song. I'm looking forward to this.
Well, the drums rolled up in my forehead, and the drums went up in my chest. Remember carrying the baby just for you, crying in the wilderness. I lost track of my friends, I lost my kin. I crossed them off my list, and I drove out over the flatlands, hunting down you and him. Well, the sky was big and empty, my chest filled to explode, and I yelled my inside out at the sun, at the wide open road. It's a wide open road. It's a wide open road. Yeah. So how do you think it feels sleeping by yourself when the one you love is with someone else? Well, then it's a wide open road. It's a wide open road, and now you can go any place that you want to go. Come on, Ando. Up in the morning, thinking I'm still by your side. I reach out just to touch you, and then I realize it's a wide open road. It's a wide open road, and now you can go any place that you want to go. So how do you think it feels sleeping by yourself when the one you love is with someone else? When I wake up in the morning, I think I'm still by your side, and I reach out just to touch you. Then I realize it's a wide open road. It's a wide open road, and now you can go any place that you want to go.
You gotta love weddings, parties, anything.
Tony, that is bloody fantastic, mate. Can I tell you why that's so freaking good?
Tell me.
It's a breakup song, right?
Yeah.
But when you listen to the Triffids version, you really don't get the sadness. I mean, you kind of do, but they bring the sadness out of that because they do it in that folk way with acoustic instruments.
Yeah.
And, that's great. The lyrics in that song are fantastic. I wish I could write a song like that.
And to have that song like an Australian classic is just so
it's a
it's
beautiful.
such a powerful thing, and it's a huge legacy for people. But
It's a sad song,
wedding
though, isn't it?
songs anyway. Oh, it is, and it makes I think whoever listens to it, like whenever I listen to it, I always think about the relationship that I obviously have with my wife, and it would be heartbreaking to break up, and to think someone's still lying by your side, and I reach out just to touch you. It's then I realize it's just.
But he's still
an
realizing.
amazing
He's still
thing.
realizing though that now he's free. Hence, it's a
Yeah.
wide open road. Now he can. That's what's done's done. Now I'm out there. Now I'm free game. I'm out. It's a wide open road. I can go anywhere I want. It's a big sky. I can do. He's put it behind him, in a way, hasn't he?
I hope Tony Di Pasquale from Spillage was listening to the accordion. So
Oh, yes. And a little bit of fiddle. Isn't it good though to see, like at the start of that, before the drums came in, they're just playing acoustic instruments, and the crowd is just loving it.
Yep, they're singing along.
Yeah.
Michael Barkley, the drummer, comes out from behind his kit and sings up the front. One of the treasured photos that I've got just outside my office actually is a framed photo of me, Mick Thomas, and Barkley. They played Father's Day back in 2010 out here in the Redlands, and under a big tent at our Strawberry Festival, and that's Mick Barkley's such
Weddings,
a
parties,
cool
anything.
dude.
They'll play the Strawberry Festival.
No, there was only the two of them.
But
So
I
it was
mean,
only
it's so
Mick and-
aptly named, and they're named like that because they're a party band. They're like they're a band that you want to go and see live rather than listen to on the record, I reckon.
Oh, absolutely. And hence the reason their live album, and once again, I encourage anyone to get onto it, is they were better live. So, all right, what's up next for you, my friend?
I talked a little bit before about these guys called Scary Pockets. If anyone wants to tune into YouTube, tune into us first, but if you want to listen to some great cover things, this channel is called Scary Pockets. It's started by a couple of guys. I did write some notes. A guy called Conti, I forget his first name, and Ryan Lerman, and they're two really good musos. He plays keyboards, and the other guy plays guitar. But they get all these different musos in, and this one they're doing a great song by Fleetwood Mac called Dreams. Everyone loves that song.
Yeah.
It's all over. Everybody knows it. And the thing I like about this is they got a girl playing drums, and she sings as well. And there's another guy that sometimes plays drums from Rob. You'll see him. He's on the floor, and he's playing all this percussion. And they're all kind of jammed into this little room, and they're just into it. And they're such good. Coming from a muso's point of view, they're such good musos, and it's a different groove than Fleetwood Mac's Dreams, but it's a great groove. I love it. It makes you want to move. This will make you want to tap your
right,
feet.
here we go. the fun they're having.
Oh, man. Oh, I love it.
They're just going for it. And what a voice. What an amazing voice.
Mate, if you check some of these guys that Scary Pockets out, they've always got a different singer each time. Some people come and repeat, but they've all got great voices. And
Yeah.
they're just the cream of the crop.
Yeah. All right. So I'll just take that off, I think.
That guy just
All right.
there is one of the singers that comes in, Quentin Chen. He is incredible, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. That's
What do you think of
and
that,
once
Tony?
again, mate, that was good. You can't fail with a bit of Fleetwood Mac. Everyone knows Fleetwood Mac, and that's always a good thing. So, just as everyone knows Neil Diamond, don't they? So everyone loves a bit of Neil Diamond. When the interesting thing now that I see with Neil Diamond songs is that "Sweet Caroline" becomes this song that they do at sporting events to get the crowd involvement, because everyone goes, "Sweet Caroline." Da, da, da.
Yeah, we do that one to get the crowd going. They love it. They love it. It's a good
Absolutely.
sing-along.
So the song that is my second song is from a Brisbane band, funnily enough, called Ups and Downs. And, they put out an EP, I think, in 86 called Sleepless. And on that album, on that EP was their biggest hit, which was a song called Living Kind, which is just an amazing song in its own right. And it's still one of my most favourite songs of all time. But this song was always a live favourite. So you would always wait. Like, I saw Ups and Downs so many times, it's just not funny. And this song would always just kill it live. And in fact, if you go onto YouTube and do a search for Ups and Downs, Solitary Man is the song.
Oh, a few people have covered this. A few people have covered this.
You'll actually see a live version of them when they, at that gig that I was talking to you about earlier, about when they came back with Huxton Creepers. So you'll see it under the YouTube account Snowy Fraser, which was my YouTube account at the time. I thought I'd lost it, but it's still out there. So the live version shot by me on a Nokia 8210, I think was the phone.
That's cool.
And it's
Hey,
it goes all right.
Before you play it, Tony, just while we're on Neil Diamond, because he gets covered a lot, and this particular song that you got, I've never seen this either. I can't wait for this, but this was also covered by Chris Isaac, if you don't know, and also his most famous. Someone who's covered him the most famous is obviously he wrote "I'm a Believer," which the Monkees did, and then was covered by Smash Mouth for Shrek.
Yeah. And you think about Red Red Wine.
Red
Neil
Wine.
Diamond song covered by UB40.
UB40,
So
yep.
Most people would know it as a UB40 song as opposed to a Neil Diamond song.
He's one of the great songwriters, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's,
Can't wait for this. Let's do
this
it.
on. This is Ups and Downs with Solitary Man. So.
This took him all of his wrong.
I'm really not sure what that video clip was fully about, but you did get a bit of a glimpse of the band there at stages.
That's a very interesting clip, isn't it?
Well,
Another
very,
breakup
very-
song, Tony.
Yeah, and once again, it's that song that many people hold on to when there's when they're not feeling that love
Yeah.
as well.
Yes.
And interestingly, while that was just on, I was thinking of another song that I didn't explore, but the Church did a version of "I Am a Rock, I Am an Island."
I was going to say they sound a little bit like the Church. They sound like a cross
Yeah.
between the Church and the Smiths.
Yeah, ups and downs, and
Good.
they wore their paisley shirts and
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
big
yeah.
collars. It was just a great time and a
love
great
it.
band. And they still gig. They still do a couple of things, and they were probably a band that should have been much.
Yeah, it's always hard. There's so many bands. Someone's going to miss out.
Yeah, someone's got to miss out, and I think they missed out. But that song that I mentioned before, the Living Kind, gets featured in movies. So, it's obviously some really, and it was actually on Bondi Rescue once when I was watching it, and I'm thinking, my God, that's a song from my childhood.
You can't get any more Australian than that.
Oh, absolutely. Let's go Bondi Rescue. So, yeah, so interesting. So, and so that was ups and downs with Solitary Man. So,
All right.
your last song, my friend.
Now, I just want to send a little warning to all the AC/DC fans. Please don't tune out, but cover your ears. Because if you're a diehard AC/DC fan, which I am, I love AC/DC, but I also love a good piss take cover. And they're not taking the piss. This is musically really, really good. The guy's voice is amazing. This is a band, and I only discovered this from my daughter. She showed me this. She said, "Dad, you'll love this," because I've got a little thing for lounge versions of things.
Yeah.
I kind of do a few myself. And this is a band called Tony and the Kiki, and all I know about them is they're from New York,
Yeah.
and they celebrate gender fluidity, and
that will become obvious when
that will become
people-
obvious when you see them. But the thing, I don't know if you've noticed the clip, Tony. You've probably only seen it once.
Oh, yeah.
They're all wearing fascinators, like at the races, when you go to the horse racing, the girls put the fascinator.
Yeah,
So they're
yeah.
all wearing fascinators. But tell you what, I love this cover version. I think it's great. So if you're an AC/DC fan, you might like it.
You may not like
No.
it, so here we go.
Back in black, I hit the sign. I've been too long, I'm glad to be back. Yes, I'm let loose from the nose that's kept me hanging around. And I'm looking at the sky and it's getting me high. Forget the haze, cause I never die. I got 9 lives, cat's eyes, abusing every one of them and running wild. Cause I'm back, I'm back, I'm back. with the gang. They gotta catch me if they want me to hang. Yes, I'm back on the track and I'm beating the flag. Nobody's gonna get me on another rap. Cause I'm, in a way, making my play. Don't try to push your luck and just get out of my way. Back, back, back in black, yeah. Woo! You know we had to funk it up. Tell me something good. Tell me that you like it. Yeah, yeah. Tell me something good. Ah, tell me that you like it. I see you right now.
You know what I find so funny about that is that
Yeah.
that guy. I don't know if he's Tony or if he's the Kiki. I don't know who he is, but he dresses like Bon Scott used to kind of dress.
Yeah,
with the shirt
yeah.
off and the tight pants.
Yeah, and the
And the chest hair like Bon
hair.
Scott, and he's got the same sort of build. And he's got the high voice like Bon Scott had.
Yeah.
So-
Can I tell you, if you're ever at like one of those 5-star places like a casino or
Yeah.
something, and you're sitting in the piano bar,
yeah.
that song
Oh.
has its place, doesn't it?
Oh,
You-
man,
you
it's,
could just
it's so good musically, that. But what they've
Yeah.
done with that is so brilliant. It's really
Yeah.
clever. Whether you like,
I,
whether you want, I mean, I love AC/DC. I want to rock out. I love that, but I love that too. That's kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
Liza Minnelli meets AC/DC. It's great.
Oh yeah, and just so it's when you sent that through, I thought there's a fair bit of creative license in that.
Yeah,
version.
exactly. Exactly.
But that's what the show's all about
That's right.
tonight. It's about understanding that there's some great cover versions out there. And yes, for the AC/DC fans or even Australian rock fans, they're probably just, taking another shot of bourbon or something and saying,
Spat
"Oh
their
my
bourbon
God,
out."
how do I get over that?" But that song has its place. It's a great little song. So, all right. So the last song for the evening, Tate Bragg. So
I know what
let
this
me
one is,
talk-
Tony. I know you've told me so, and I love it.
Now, let's first talk about the band that's going to do the cover. They're a band called the Doug Anthony All Stars, and
Are they a band
started.
or are they a comedy trio?
Well, they started with you might remember the Big Gig was
Yes.
one of those shows on the ABC at like 11 o'clock on a Friday night or something, and I know that was like religious viewing for me and my wife Sharon at the time, and they're a bit of a comedy trio, and the trio is Paul McDermott, Tim Ferguson, and Richard Fidler, and for those, Richard Fidler is now on the ABC with Conversations with Richard Fidler,
love it.
so he's
Good
sort of
show.
gone a bit mainstream, and Tim Ferguson's unfortunately suffering from MS,
Yeah.
so. But as well as being really funny, they could sing, and
Oh.
they've done so many spellbinding covers. If you go onto Spotify, you'll hear a couple of their covers. This version isn't available on Spotify; it's only available through YouTube. But they do a great version of "Heard It Through the Grapevine," And once again, they've just got great vocals. Now, the song that they sing that they're going to that I'm sharing tonight is an Australian classic. Now, this was released and re-recorded by a little band called Hunters and Collectors, and they looked for the magic formula for this song to crack mainstream radio, and it was recorded like in '84. A live version came out in the same year. It was then re-recorded in '85, '86, and again in 1990. So they kept...
I'll tell you how good it is. It's been also performed live by Pearl Jam.
Yep.
You're going to say that, were
Neil
you?
Finn.
And Bruce Springsteen.
Neil Finn. Yep. Bruce Springsteen, Neil Finn, Crowded House, Kate Sobrano has done a version. And there's even a Spanish version. And of course, this has also been covered by Dave Bragg. So in his live shows.
Yes.
Now, the song never really dominated the charts at any stage during the 80s. I think it snuck into the top 50 there at one stage. But in January 2018, as part of Triple M's Ozist 100s, the most Australian songs of all times, Throw Your Arms Around Me was ranked number 14.
Bring it on.
So once again, it's one of those songs that's just grown, and I just find this version by the Doug Anthony All-Stars, a comedy trio, to be absolutely spellbinding.
3-part harmony at its best here.
I will come for you at night time, and I will raise you from your sleep. Lord, I will kiss you in four places as I go running up your street, and I will squeeze the life out of you, and you will make me laugh and make me cry. And we may never forget it. You will make me call your name, and I'll shout it to the blue summer sky. And we may never meet again. So shed your skin and let's get started. And you may throw your arms around me. Yeah, you may throw your arms around me. Well, I came for you at night time, and I watched you in your sleep. Lord, I kissed you in four places. I kissed your head and kissed your feet. Now if you disappear out of view, you know that I will never say goodbye. And though I try to forget it, you will make me call your name, and I shout it to the blue summer sky. And we may never meet again. So shed your skin and let's get started. And you may throw your arms around me. Yeah, 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 you may throw your arms around me.
That is magical, isn't it? That is that song reminds me so much when Sharon and I returned. Well, I returned from Townsville and brought Sharon to Brisbane with me. I went to the picnic races with my mates the first year we were back, and of course when you go to the Esk picnic races, you have a couple of drinks. So we were coming back in this bus, and the whole fucking song was, the whole bus was singing that song.
Oh,
And I reckon we all thought we were singing in harmony.
doesn't
And
matter.
it
Yeah,
was
well, you
pitch
are. It
perfect.
doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's about the
it was
feeling. It's not
beautiful.
about the notes. It's about how it feels.
Yeah. But that is such an amazing version of that song, and I know it's been covered by so many people, and it is truly an Australian classic. But uh, Doug Anthony All Stars they're a funny group, but they produce so many great versions of covers.
Yeah.
So once again, I just encourage people to look them up.
Good
So,
choice. I love that.
yeah,
And that's not a breakup song. That's like a happy song.
yeah, yeah.
So
It's
it's good.
And Neil Finn wrote the second verse, didn't he?
Oh, I don't
Neil
know.
Finn, I think. Yeah, I think the original version is
Well, Hunters and Collectors and Split Ends have a connection because
yeah.
the bass player came from them to Crowded House. So is that right?
I
Oh no,
remember seeing-
the brother of
Yeah.
the brother of the singer.
Nick Seymour. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. The
I
brother of
remember
the
seeing
singer.
Hunters at East Leagues Club, and they were fucking larger than life. They've got the brass holes on. So I don't think
They had a French
called
horn
themselves-
player, Tony. How many
Yeah,
bands
they
have got a
had
French
that.
horn player?
Just unbelievable.
You know what I'm talking
And-
about, hey? The French horn. You know
Yeah,
that one, the one that
yeah.
goes around and yeah.
Yep. They had a whole brass section.
Yeah,
So it was
but
just
French horn.
incredible.
No, that's the only rock band ever that's had a French horn in it. It's ridiculous.
And and you know, I wasn't necessarily one of the big hunters and collectors freaks. I loved some of their songs, but I've never seen an audience of, you know, primarily blokes
Yeah.
singing "You Don't Make Me Feel Like I'm a Woman."
anymore. And then what else? Do you see what I see?
Yeah,
Do you
just
see
a
what I
magical
see?
Australian group.
Oh,
Yeah.
good band. What a songwriter he was. Seymour.
Yeah, Mark Seymour, and he's still going. So
Yeah.
he's still producing some
Yeah.
stuff and writing some songs, and you know how that would make you feel knowing that some of your songs, like
it
I
must be
get
amazing.
amazed with people like Paul Kelly,
Yeah.
who's just, you know, they're just Australian poets that, you know, encapsulate certain times in our history.
Tony,
So I think that's amazing.
Paul Kelly and Wome Adelaide, March.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we went prior to COVID. Paul did his Gravy tour, and I think 2018, 2019, he was in Brisbane on Gravy Day, and they call it Gravy Day. It's the 21st of December, and you know, so, and of course the whole family goes because, you know, these kids have been brought up with Paul Kelly, so
Yes.
they love it as much. So, mate, good show.
Hey,
Really enjoyed
it's time
that.
for this. It's time for the 7-inch.
Oh, mate, hold on a sec. So when I say hold on a sec, it means that holy shit, I forgot.
I figured that.
But you go first, my friend.
I'll go first. Well, I have to go with this one because on Sunday, I borrowed a good friend of mine, another muso friend of mine. Shout out to Alan, who I did a gig with on Saturday night in the city of Adelaide, which was fun.
Yeah, looked
And
like fun.
he lent me his log-on details to Disney because the Beatles Get Back has just came out with Peter Jackson has directed it, and it's a recording of. It goes for 9 hours. There's 3-hour episodes, and I binged watched the whole thing in one go.
Wow.
That's how
Yeah,
much of a Beatles
yeah.
freak. It was just mind-blowing for me to watch those guys. What it was like for me is it's like be able to go back and watch Picasso paint or sit next to Mozart while he's playing the piano, to watch McCartney and Lennon and those boys come up with songs out of nothing is. So, I chose this little single, "Let It Be." You actually see how much I paid for it. They're only $6. And on the back of this one, the B-side is a really interesting song. It's called "You Know My Name, Look Up the Number," and that's the Beatles used to fuck around a lot when they recorded. And if anyone does watch the "Let It Be" thing, you'll see that it'll probably be a bit boring for you, but I loved it. They fuck around and mess around so much, but all the time they're playing over and over the songs and getting them down, and they're actually working hard when they do it, but they fuck around. And this song on the other B-side is just a compilation of all those fuck-ups, and they put it all into one big long song. It's hilarious. So, pretty cool.
Yeah. The little snippet you shared on Facebook was quite interesting too, because McCartney says, "Oh, so Lennon's late again." So, and it's just like, you know, we think of these guys as like gods almost.
And it's just like you and me, taking the piss out of one another. Yeah,
Braggy's late again. So,
I just before one more show, I just love the labels of the apple like that, and then the other side's that. So cool, isn't it?
Oh,
yeah.
All right. So I spoke about these guys today.
Yes.
Huxton Creepers. This is the very first single I ever bought from them. The song was called "The Murderess." Now, interestingly enough, when I'm looking at the back, and I'll share you the back in a sec, Rob Craw is now a school teacher. And it's really interesting, some of the Facebook groups when people share it that I've seen, and Rob Craw answers as a school teacher, and one of the kids actually said, "He's my school teacher." So I think that's pretty cool. Paul Thomas played guitars, and he had he was actually in that Weddings Parties Anything clip as well. So he moved to the Wedos there for a stage. Matthew Eddy bass, and Archie Law, who looks like an Archie Law, I might just say. So that was the band. And if you look down here, they've got "Thanks to the Drunken Revelers." So I'm not quite sure who they are.
That'll be their mates.
That would obviously be part of their fan club. Yeah. So Huxton Creepers, "The Murderess."
Nice.
A single that came out, and what a great show. What a good show. I enjoyed this so much. I enjoy all our shows, mind you.
But it's good. I know I love having guests on, but that was fun just to listen to a few songs.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do a wind up. How long have we been going? I'll just check the time. Oh my God, we're over an hour tonight. Fuck,
that's how much fun we had.
So anyway, December 9 next week, we've got that educational session on social media. We've got a social media expert, Chantal Garrity, coming on deck. So if you've got any questions, put them on. Send them through our website, and we will make sure we ask those questions. Now, December 16 show is going to be an interview with a band called the Tailor Made Rejects from Brisbane, which is going to be interesting because we've got all four of them coming on. So,
are they going to be drinking?
So that could be an absolute nightmare, or it could be a riot or a barrel of laughs. So we'll see how we go with that one.
Cool.
So that'll be December 16, and we've moved our Christmas show, of course, to December 19, the Sunday, and we really want you to share it. Come on board and join us on that one. Make a barbie at the back, put us on the big screen, and let's have a little bit of fun. All you need to register is your email and your first name. There'll be lots of fun. We can bring you on. You can make comments all the way through. There's a quiz that's going to be going on. It is going to be awesome. So please join us. 2022, we kick off with Mick Madoo from the Screaming Tribesmen, and talking about covers, Mick Madoo and the Rumours do an absolutely awesome cover of the song by the Only Ones called "Another Girl, Another Planet." And once again, available on Spotify. So there's some really good stuff. If you've liked what we played tonight, not all songs, but a lot of the songs that we've shared tonight are now available on a playlist on Spotify called Undiscovered Covers Uncovered, which, funnily enough, was the name of the show. Yeah. So as per always, please like, subscribe and share. Check out our playlists on Spotify. If you like the artists, make sure you follow them. Our website is at Unfiltered and Undiscovered.com. All of our previous episodes and our upcoming episodes are available on the website. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube. We're now over 100 subscribers on both of those
That's
platforms.
awesome. Can I just say
thank
something
you.
before we go, Tony? I just want to say thank you to you because people probably don't know that you do all this fucking background work, and I just turn up here and talk shit, and you do all the stuff. I know what it's like to edit things. You sit there and edit it afterwards, and
Yeah.
I mean, I know I really appreciate all that stuff you do, Tony. I just wanted to let you know that, and let the viewers know that that's what happens in the background as well. And you go and find the people to talk to, which is amazing.
Yeah,
Thanks,
so,
mate.
and which is probably a pretty cool timely call if you know someone who you want to get some exposure to or to have a chat about some of their music, get them to contact us. We have no barriers on gender, race, or
What
or
sort of
anything,
music,
or
religion,
genres,
anything.
or, yeah.
Just
Yeah.
if you play an instrument and you've got
We
something
wanna
that we
hear
can
from
play, yeah, we'll hear from you. We'll talk to you.
And yeah, we're absolutely the most inclusive podcast that you'll ever come across.
We're
So,
very woke.
maybe not woke, but
I live
well, I
in it.
know you're a bit more woke, but but we're aware. How's that? We're aware.
Isn't that what it means?
I've got no idea. Hey, on behalf of Braggy and Curly, thank you for tuning in.
Cool.
It's been a lot of fun this episode. So tune in next week. We've got social media, and of course, then our Christmas show. We'll see you all again next week. Thank you.
See you guys.